Brakathe Yahweh, Brakathe Yahushai, Brakathe Yahweh, Brakathe Yahushai, Brakathe Yahweh, Brakathe Yahushai. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakudash, Dawada, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Shema, Yasha Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Akad. Shema, Yasha Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Akad. Shema, Yasha Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Akad. Double honors to my elder apostles and elder water bishops, great millstone who taught me this truth and continue to teach me this truth. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and to the Israelites that are scattered abroad. To you I say Shalom. It's the brothers about Double coming again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I don't want to tell you be edified. All right, and today, this lesson is more so just a faith booster, not only to myself, but to the nation of Israel, those who truly believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, Salakia. For those that do know what we're coming into, it's gonna be a time like never before, and I have the tables turned for this month of July. All right, and so this lesson is more so having faith in what's about to happen, having faith in what's the prophecies that's about to unfold or unfolding, right here and right before our eyes, that we have to have and continue to have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that everything is going to work out for us, in the near future, if we are a part of that number, which we hope to be, as well as just keeping the hope in Yahweh Shem Yahushai that He doesn't forget us, in those times to come, where it's definitely going to be harder than anything that we've ever encountered before. All right, and I'm just going to stay in the book of Daniel, more so chapter 3, but I'll be jumping around in different verses, from different verses, and we know, we've all heard the story about, many of the stories of the miracles that the Lord has performed. David in the lion's den, David in the lion's den, Daniel in the lion's den, as well as Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, Ananias, Azariah, and Mishael, which are the Hebrew names, true names of those brothers. But and that's really what we're going to go into, because that's a faith booster in itself, that those three men, all right, kept the faith and believe that, if it is the Lord's will, that they will be saved. All right, and same for us, if it's in the Lord's will, we will be saved through, the fiery trial, so this lesson is entitled "The Lord Will Come Through." Okay, the Lord will come through, and more so come through, is more so as far as it's more so slang. All right, that He will make a way, come through for us. We will be saved, out of that fiery trial. Let's just go to let's see, dictionary.com right here, and look at the definition of come through, as well as the thesaurus, the synonymous words to it. See, it's to emerge successfully, to survive an illness or setback. Okay, and during the book of Daniel, to emerge successfully, Daniel emerged successfully out of the lion's den. The Lord pretty much closed the mouths of those lions. That way Daniel wouldn't be touched. Okay. The setback was that he had to wait. And during that time, while he was waiting, what was he doing? He was praying. All right, that the Lord will come through for him, which he knew. Believing and having faith in the Lord, he's going to come through, and that's what Daniel believed in. And same with Hananiah, and Azrael, that they survived, during that fiery furnace. Okay, they survived the setback. The setback was that them being in that fiery furnace. All right, but they emerged. All these ads, man. But they emerged successfully out of that fiery furnace. The Lord came through. All right, let's see what the synonymous words come through. Okay, chip in. That's what the Lord definitely chipped in. Prevail, succeed, achieve, be successful, be victorious, carry out, triumph. Yeah, they carried out that setback. They had no choice. But the faith that they had in the Lord allowed them to come back. To carry out. The faith in the Lord would allow them to be successful, be victorious. All right, to be triumphant. Okay, because at the end of the day, they won. Right, it made him look like a fool. All right. Made the king look like a fool. Oh my gosh, all these ads. Okay, so like I said, this lesson is entitled "The Lord Will Come Through." Okay, and we had to believe and know that the Lord's going to come through for us. All right, during this trial. All right, or during these trials. All right, because ultimately, it's a testament of our own faith. All right, the Lord is testing us to see if we truly believe in Him and what He can do for us and what He has done for us. All right, a lot of people are going to fold in these times to come. Are not going to be able to handle what the Lord is about to allow the so-called white man do. All right, and that's why we always talk about and preach about how we have to be spiritually grounded, all right, in this word, in this truth. We have to really know and believe that He's going to come through and make a way for us, like He's always has. All right, and if you doubt, then your faith isn't strong enough, and we have to pray, even more to have a stronger faith in the Lord. All right, so let's go ahead and start off in Daniel chapter 3. All right, and it's like I said, it's just more so, it's going to stay in chapter 3. And I'm just going to jump around, and that's going to be the lesson. All right, Lord willing. So this is Daniel chapter 3. First off, we'll just read from 1 through 8. It reads, Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. Okay, so 3 scores, we know score, all right, is 20. So 3 score, which is 3 times 20, which would be 60. All right, so it says whose height was 60 cubits, which would be 60 cubits. The height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. So 60 by 6. All right. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. So those men, all right, that he called together, were pretty much high end, were like the let's just say like top of the food chain. All right, and bringing them to the dedication All right, of the image. Verse 3 reads, then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. All right. Verse 4 says, Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. All right. Now there you have the king. All right, king of Babylon. All right, and he's telling them to worship, having them worship an image. All right, but the Lord told us, all right, His children, that there should be no gods before Him. All right, that we should not worship any graven image, or have or any idol, or worship any graven image. Let me get that real quick. God. So Exodus 20:1-4. All right, and this pretty much literally combats what King Nebuchadnezzar was just saying. It goes against what he was saying. All right. Let's read 3 real quick, and then we'll read Exodus. All right. It says, Then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. Exodus 20:1-4, it reads, actually we'll go down to 5, it reads, And the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord Yahweh thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. All right. Graven image, you're worshiping the graven image. You're pretty much saying that graven image is your God. All right, you're worshiping it. Verse 3: Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord Yahweh thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Okay? Clearly, the Lord, as we read right here, tells us that we're not supposed to serve any graven image, that we're not supposed to have no other gods before Him, which He's the only power. They are the only power. Salakia, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. All right, we're not supposed to bow down and worship any graven image. And what they set up, okay, at that time was literally a graven image. Okay, it's an image. Verse 1: Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image, okay, of gold. All right. All right, so verse 7 reads, Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. All right. So there you have it. All right. The Lord simply stated, All right, that there should be no other powers before him. We should be not worshiping any graven image that's been set up. All right, and as you say here, King Nebuchadnezzar pretty much said, if you don't do it, all right, then you're going to be thrown in the burning fiery furnace. All right, which pretty much you can liken that just to like a big oven. Okay, you know, just a big oven, a big furnace. All right, full of fire. All right, we're going to be burnt alive. You know, so let's jump down to 12. All right, it reads, there are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy powers, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Now, that's clearly we know that those are men of the Lord. Okay, because really the Lord in Exodus, 21-5. He's speaking to the nation of Israel, because that's who the Lord only deals with. All right, the nation of Israel. So anybody who are of the 12 tribes of Israel, all right, is he speaking to when he says that there should be no other gods before him. All right, that we should not bow down to any image. So as we read here, okay, in 12 it says, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy powers, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So that means they know that the Lord told them not to do it. All right, so they're not scared. They're not scared of King Nebuchadnezzar. All right, they're not scared at all. That's why they're going against what he says. All right, we're not supposed to be afraid of man. All right. So we'll go down. We'll read on. It says, then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my powers, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a fiery furnace, and who is that power shall deliver you out of my hands? All right, and that's pretty much verbatim. All right, don't really need no self-explanatory. But that last question was like, who's going to deliver you out of his hands? It was like, who's going to stop you from me doing that to you? All right, if you don't listen to me. All right, which, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, or Hananiah, Adonai, and Azrael, all right, know that Yahweh Shai will save them out of that fiery furnace if it be their will. All right, and if it don't be their will, they still not gonna do it, because they have the faith and trust in the Lord. All right, that what they're doing is right. All right, they believe in the word. All right, and the truth. All right, in Yahweh Shai. All right, 16 it reads, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. All right, so they're telling them, obviously, that Yahweh Shai will deliver him out of their hands. All right, that's who it is. 18 it says, but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy powers, nor worship thy golden image which thou hast set up. All right, so they said there, that's what I was saying. 17 is saying, if it's going to be in their will, all right, to be saved out of that fiery furnace, then that's what it's going to be for them. All right, they're going to be saved. But if not, which 18 starts, but if it's not in their will, they're still not going to bow down and worship, the graven image. All right. As they're not afraid of any mortal men. All right. Which the Lord tells us to not be afraid of any mortal man. All right. They bleed just like us. All right. They're in these fleshly bodies like us. All right. So that just goes to show you the faith that they have, all three men that they have in Yahweh Shai, all right, to continue on in believing in them, all right, and knowing that they're going to be delivered out of their hands, all right, if it be of their will. See, they know, all right, who they serve, all right, they know what type of power that they serve, all right, and they know that they can be delivered, that the Lord can do all things. That goes to show you that they are part of the 12 tribes. All right, it's instilled in them. The faith and the belief that they have in Yahweh Shai is instilled in them. Otherwise, they would have been bound down. All right, like the rest of these other individuals that was there. All right, they wouldn't have bucked up, to the king. All right, because that's the king. No one did that. You don't go against what the what the king says. All right, what the king says goes. All right. They knew that the Lord was going to deliver them out of his hands if that was need be. Same instance with the brothers, the 7 brothers in the Maccabees. Salaki, I couldn't think of the book. All right, in the book of 2 Maccabees. All right, they chose not to eat swine. All right, and they knew in Yahweh Shai, all right, that if it be in their will, all right, that they will be delivered. All right, but at the same time, all right, those men knew and they had the faith that even if they didn't get delivered from the said trial that the Lord put them through, that they was gonna come back. All right, and that's another lesson. I brought that out before, but if the Lord says, it'll be another lesson again being brought out. Just another faith booster. All right, this book, the Bible, it has this, the good. It has it all. It has the good and the bad. All right. It has the honey and the honey and the and it's bitter. All right, knowing this truth. All right, there's a scripture for that too as well. But let's not get off topic. It's already 23 minutes in. I don't want to make this too long. 18 one more time. It says, "But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy powers, nor worship thy golden image, which thou hast set up." Okay, so they set up an image, all right, to worship. All right, whenever you hear that certain type of music, all right, you was to come to the graven image and bow down and worship it, all right, which was set up. Let's jump down to 20. It reads, "And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace." Let's see. I want to get that word. Slovakia. I want to get that word bind.
Strong's H3729. Kephath.
All right. It reads to bind, to be bound, to bind, to fetter, a root of uncertain correspondence, to bind. Okay. So pretty much like to hem up, to grab onto, so they wouldn't go anywhere. All right. 20 again, it says, "And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Salakia. I was reading something else. Salakia. 22 it reads, therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, right, or his word, right, was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right, or the flame or the spark of the fire. It reads, and these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Okay. Jump down to 25. It reads, he answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose. Well, let's go ahead and just read 24. I'll read on down. It says, verse 24 reads, then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, right, like astonished. I believe that's, let's see what that word. I believe that astonished is like astonished, if I'm not mistaken. I believe so. Let's see.
Strong's H 8429. Tevach.
Tevach. All right. To be startled, be alarmed. Yeah, like be startled, be astonished, be alarmed. Like it took you off guard, you know, so to speak. Let's see. Sweeping ruin. To be amazed. Yeah, to amaze, take alarm, be astonished. An example. Okay, yeah, like to be amazed. Okay. Because he wasn't expecting that. Okay, that's never happened before. All right. 24 says, then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, alarmed, amazed, astonished. Okay. It says, and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Okay. Now, the average individual who reads the Bible, all right, or the average individual who's heard this story, all right, if you don't have the Spirit of the Lord on you, you're not really going to believe that this is possible. All right, that 3 men that are in a fiery furnace are not being burnt alive, or not being touched. All right, but we have the faith and belief in Yahweh Shai, and read and believe in His miracles and what the Lord has done. All right, as we know, the Lord's done so many miracles that there would be enough. It wouldn't be enough books. I need to find that scripture too, because it's in the Bible. It goes into how the Lord did so many miracles that you wouldn't be able to put it in all of them in books. All right, so it's nothing for the Lord, all right, who's in control of all things, to sit there and have these 3 men go into a fiery furnace and not be touched by the fire. All right, your faith has to be above and beyond. All right, to sit there and not only deny what the king tell you to do, but to willingly, you know, they didn't even put, the thing about it is they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? All they did was tell Nebuchadnezzar that, you know what I'm saying, we're not going to do it. We're not going to bow down to your image. All right, we're not going to worship your image. All right, and that was pretty much it. They didn't put up a fight. They said, well, we're not going to do it. We'll go in that fire. All right, if it be of the Lord's will. All right, he's going to save us. If not, which in verse 18 it says, but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy powers. They didn't put up a fight. They said we're not going to do it. Point blank, period. So they willingly sat there and said it, okay, well, we'll do it. All right, just let you know that we're not going to serve your image, though. But we'll go in the fiery furnace and we'll see the outcome. We'll wait for the outcome. All right. And the outcome was 25. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of Man, or so like the Son of God. 26 it reads, Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High Power, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. Okay, so that fourth looking like the Son of God, obviously we know was Yahushua. Okay, he came in the form, in his form to stop them from even being touched. Stop them from being touched at all. Okay. They weren't. We'll read 27. We'll read 27. It says, And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. So the Lord, they didn't have. There's no way you can. There's no way you can be in fire, on fire, all right, and not be touched, all right, not have a smell on you, anything of that nature, all right. But they were touched because the Spirit of the Lord was with them while they were in there, all right. That was the Lord showing who they serve. The Lord showed them who they showed King Nebuchadnezzar who they serve. All right, their power. All right, it was of their will to be saved. All right, but they still were willing to walk in that fiery furnace, even if there was their judgment. All right, even if it was of the Lord's will for them not to, to sleep after that. It was of the Lord, and they knew that, which is why they were okay. They knew that the Lord was in control of the situation that was at hand. All right. 28 it reads, Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any power except their own power. All right, which is Yahweh Yahushua. 29 it reads, Therefore I make a decree. All right, I make a decree. Let's look at that word too, decree, which I know what it is, but just cause. Make a decree.
Strong's H2942. To aim.
Okay. To aim, decree, taste, judgment, a command. A, taste. B, judgment, discretion. C, report. D, command. Okay. Let's see. Chancellor, commandment, decree, regard, taste, wisdom. Okay, so a command. So King Nebuchadnezzar had made a command, okay, a decree. It says that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses So like it cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other power that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Okay, so he therefore, he said, who can deliver? Earlier in the chapter, King Nebuchadnezzar was saying, full of himself, that who could deliver you out of my hand? Okay. What is it? Verse 15. It says, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a fiery furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's power. Yahweh Shai can deliver them out of your hands. Okay. Back to 29. Shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other power that can deliver after this sort. There is no other power than Yahweh Shai that can deliver after this sort, after this matter. Okay? Then the king promoted or made to prosper, okay, promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Alright? So once again, this is just one of the many stories, alright, and miracles that the Lord has performed, alright, to give us faith boosters. Alright? The Lord is not a man that he should lie. So this has definitely happened. Okay? This has definitely happened. And this is a faith booster unto us and to the nation of Israel, that while we go through these trials and tribulations, these are the different stories and scriptures that we have to remind ourselves about when we're in those, in those fiery times, that he's going to make a way out of no way. Okay? There was no way that Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael, all right, was able to get out of that, out of that fiery furnace, but they didn't care. They knew there was no way, because it was given to them by the king that they had to go in there, because they wouldn't bow down to the image. All right. And it's going to be the same way for us, that when it comes down to that time where we have to, pretty much, if the Lord don't take you out before it happened, everyone's going to be presented with that charagma. All right, it's going to be presented. All right, it's going to have that option to take it or not. All right. Excuse me. Slovakia. All right, we're all going to be presented with that. All right, and they just like they were presented, all right, bow down and serve my image, all right, or face the fiery furnace. In that time, pretty much, when that happens to us with that karamba, that's pretty much saying bow down and serve my image, all right, or face the consequences, pretty much get put to sleep, be put to sleep, all right. Right? And a lot of people in that day are going to fold, all right, because not only do they not have the Spirit of the Lord on them, first and foremost, they're just not of that number, all right, because only the individuals, both men and women, that are of that number are not going to take it, are not going to bow down and worship that image, all right, that karagma, okay, what they call it, the sea hip, okay, the sea hip, all right, and the elect, all right, that remnant that was left, all right, that was left therein, all right, are definitely not going to take it, because it's the Lord had it in the spirit from the foundations of the earth that they weren't going to take it, all right. And I bring this out, like I said earlier, just for a faith booster, all right, just knowing that the times that we're living in, all right, is going to be worse than it's ever been before, all right. I mean, I don't know what was worse than the fiery furnace back in that day, all right, but in these days, it's going to be worse than that, all right. And if we don't have, first and foremost, myself, all right, myself included, if we don't have our faith in our spirit in the right place, all right, what they say, you bound to drizzle, right? And we not trying to be one of those individuals that sleep on this side, all right, with the 2/3. All right, we want to have that faith and that strength, that courage, all right, and to be brave, just like those 3 men were in that day, if not even more, all right, than them, because we're going to be coming to a time like never before, all right, seeing that the times that we're in right now, the month of July, all right, and it's getting closer and closer, all right, with people's money getting, accounts being locked, and the transferring of the revenue, all right, the currency, all right. A lot of people are going to be made homeless. We just got out of a power surge over here where I stay at. All right, power was out. They was just talking about the grid. Let me show you something real quick. Matter of fact, why do you have Shimmy outside? We'll close it out with that. I have a video that I want to bring out. There we go.
If we truly have an outage that is nationwide that lasts 9 months, the EMP Commission, they found that as many as 90% of Americans would die. 90% of Americans, what's 90% of 360 million people? So it's like 300 million. So 300 million people wiped off the map just like that. And how long did... If we truly have an outage that is nationwide that lasts 9 months, the EMP Commission, they found that as many as 90% of Americans would die. 90% of Americans, what's 90% of 360 million people? So it's like 300 million. So 300 million people wiped off the map just like that. And how long did you say that would take? 9 months. 9 months? And what does it look like if our power grid goes down? So it really becomes almost zombie apocalypse. And it's horrific because we think about loosening the rule of law. And so we have George Carlin, a clip from, one of his comedy tours in a movie. And he says, you can't count on the police or the National Guard to be at home protecting their own family. There's literally nothing, which is going to nothing. There are no supply chains. There is no water. There is no food. There is no fuel. Everything that you have come to know, all the both luxuries and necessities in life are fueled by the power grid. That's going to create chaos because when people get hungry and they get thirsty and desperation sets in, there's no more friends. There's no more communities. People are going to do whatever they need to do to enable their families and themselves survive. It's just going to be mass chaos in the streets. There is nobody coming. How are they going to fuel helicopters to bring supplies in? They're not. Even if you had some backup generators, some people, some institutions like hospitals or apartments might have, but then how much diesel supply do you have? Sometimes it's 3 days, maybe it might be 30 days, but then your diesel's not going to be delivered because there's going to be chaos.
All right. And it's going to be crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, the faith that we have to have in Yahweh Shai is going to have to amount to, it's going to be out of this world. All right, when that happens, we're going to have nothing to we're not going to have anything to rely on but the Lord. Yahweh Shai. That's it. So those days are coming, and they're right around the corner, and I tell myself that too. Like, a lot of people, families, a lot of people out there, is going to be out there stealing. Like I said, the love of many shall wax cold. All right, as the scripture goes into. But this has been a lesson. All right, entitled "The Lord Will Come Through." Probably gonna have this be part 2 because I had the first one out already. But yeah, the Lord will come through part 2, and I pray that the Lord comes through for all of us who believe, truly, all right, in Yahweh Shai. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to my elder apostles of the elder bishops, a great millstone who taught me this truth and continue to teach me this truth. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. And with that, I want to say Kwame Ashrala and Abba Shalom.